Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It is Tuesday, February 25th. So, what we could talk about today, I thought we'd go into is road calls, service calls, worth it? Or are you wasting a lot of your time and money? So, stay tuned. Alrighty, welcome back. If you didn't already know it, my name is Eric. Yes, this is the weekday, Monday through Friday. Today is Tuesday, February 25th, 2025. So, what are we talking about today? Well, is doing service calls on site worth the hassle? And it's a good question. I mean, if you're running your business out of your truck and your cell phone is your business phone, which most people use nowadays, but not us, it can be viable. The hard thing is having everything you need when you show up. That's the cincher. And having your truck equipped with the stuff that you need. See, now, most times you end up having to order the part. So you go, you do a service call, you're there, diagnose, all right, it needs a belt. You don't have the belt with you. You go back, order the belt, or you sit there on your phone, you order the belt through Amazon Prime and hope it'll be here in a day or two. That way you can get paid. But meanwhile, that customer is looking at, all right, so I got a service call for this guy showing up, doing a diagnostic, and then an hour's labor, and then I'm going to have another service call when he comes back and puts it on. And you have to. We have a $50 show up fee. If you call us and we show up, it's $50. Now, the last job that we did, I waived the $50 because he's a new customer. But we showed up to see what it was that he needed fixed. It was less than 5 degrees out, and we opted to wait until yesterday to do the job. Why is that? Because yesterday was in the 40s, but that wind was terrible. So we ended up getting a show up fee of $50. And then we were there for an hour and a half times two. So there's 3 hours labor. And then we end up having to go to Tractor Supply because he didn't have enough hydraulic oil for his tractor. We went and picked that up. So that added to the bill. Out the door was right around $300 with tax and everything. He was thrilled. And he's got our number now on speed dial. He's got quite a bit of equipment there. So he's going to be a good customer. It's not bad to give new customers a break. Even give good customers a break once in a while. But the problem is it's a hit or miss, at least in our area. And what I hear from other ones that have done the service type calls for small engine more so than it is for a tractor that we cover as well, is that they find they show up and the customer is just hovering over them, asking them all these questions and trying to learn how to do it so they don't have to have the guy come back the next time. And what happens usually when that takes place is the customer ends up paying more. And why do I say more? Because one, you're slowing down the tech, the mechanic, to get the job done because he's too busy answering your stupid ass questions. Two, you're going to retain just about enough from that visit to get yourself in over your head. And then it's going to cost you more money when that mechanic has to come back out and fix it the next time. But now the bill is going to be higher because There's parts missing where you tried taking it apart and you busted pieces. I've had other shop owners and mechanics say that they don't like the customer around. They don't want the customer hovering and checking all their work. It's kind of like they're keeping their watch, checking their watch to make sure that no extra amount of time gets billed. And that kind of reminded me of, I bought this Nissan pickup, little extended cab. This was years ago, back 95, I think it was 96. But it was used, and it had 30-some thousand miles on it. And it had a limited warranty, kind of like a threshold warranty, but the dealership was a Ford dealership, and they had taken it in on trade. The owner swore up and down they ran that truck through the shop, and it was 100%. So I bought it. And I got home, and I decided I'd check certain things, and I went to put the four-wheel drive, had lock-in hubs in the front. So most of your vehicles now are four-wheel drive on demand. If you want lockout hubs, it costs more now than it did back then. Back then, it cost you more to have the automatic versus the lock-in, but it had lock-in hubs on the front wheels. And you had to turn both sides, the right and the left, in order for the four-wheel drive to work. And I went to turn the four-wheel drive in, and the one turned fairly hard, but I got it to go. The other one, I couldn't get it to turn. And I even took a set of vice grips and tried turning it that way, and still no luck. So I turned the other one back out because it was in the out position, drove back to that dealer and asked them, could you just run it through the shop and check the four-wheel drive, the hubs? Maybe you can get them working. So the guy said, yeah, give us a couple hours. And so a couple hours, I come back, and my truck is sitting out in the parking lot. I went to turn the hubs, and I still couldn't turn the hubs. So I went into to the owner, and I said, look, I went out there to try to turn the hubs in. Why don't you come out and you show me how you turn the lock-in hubs? And he went and he got onto the left-hand side that was the problem child, and he couldn't turn it. I said, you sure your guys ran it through and checked the four-wheel drive on it? He said, well, that's what they told me. He says, I'll come back in a couple hours. We'll get her in the shop. This time I didn't leave. The garage door was open, and I walked over where I could see them to see if they even come over to that left side. Next thing I know, the overhead door is coming down. They don't want me to see them working on that truck. If you have something to hide, I can see it. But you're not going to teach me how to tear a whole front hub apart. All I want to know is why the lock-in hubs won't turn. Because they're plastic on the outside, but there's a gear on the inside. And they ran it through the shop twice. And when they finally brought it back out the third time, it still wouldn't turn. And the owner said, it's more than what we want to tackle. It's not our problem. You bought the truck as is where it is. Now, my shop isn't like that. If I have a customer's machine in and they show up and Claude's working on it, we don't shut garage doors. I also explained to them that they can't be out in the shop for liability reasons. But how fast do you think I'm going to go back to that car dealership for my next vehicle? I've never been back. And I had bought 2 vehicles from them. But getting back to the topic, and that is doing service work the right direction to go? And the answer is yes and no. If you're running a shop, a physical shop, and you have bays and you have equipment, being on the road is going to take away from that shop time. Nobody is there to answer the phone to talk to a customer about when they could drop it off. And a lot of people, if they don't get a body, they hang up. They don't leave a message. So we run the risk of losing customers while we're out on the road. Now, if you use a cell phone for all your business, that's something totally different, and that's a smart move. So if you're not right there at the shop, you could still answer the phone and say, just drop it off or we'll pick it up. Let's see, tomorrow around 9, is that good for you? And you're still getting the work for the shop. But there's the other thing, is if the service work is keeping you somewhat busy and now the shop is full, what do? You're going to make more money, as far as I'm concerned, in the shop than you are out on the road, because you got vehicle maintenance, you got gas, you got time. You're paying your mechanic from the minute they leave the shop to the minute they get back. So travel time, if you're talking half an hour, there's an hour that you're paying out that you don't get back. And that's why we have the $50 service fee to show up. It's for that hour's labor that my driver in the truck, and it doesn't cover the fuel labor in the truck. People think, oh, you're too high. No, I'm not. I'm not high enough. It will work if you can get enough customer base to where you're doing like the service work as well as the repair work. Most of the people that call us for repair work on site are the ones that do their own service work. And they've gotten in over their head, or something has broken or come loose that they can't fix, and they've tried for hours. And that was the case yesterday. We showed up last Friday and looked at it, and it was a low pressure hose, had come off. And it was in one of those really tight places. Snow was packed in around it. We ended up explaining to them, it'd be better if we come back on Monday when it's warmer. We brought the extension cords. We brought the heat gun. Brand new blade and the X-Acto knife, the box cutter. And knocked it out. It didn't want to go that well. But if it went that well and that easy, the other guy would have had it fixed. But we had to cut the ends because they were flanged out. Got it back on, got the hose clamps back on, filled it with hydraulic fluid. Guy's happy. But what about the calls that came into the shop while you were out that never left a message? See, even though Claude's working a half a day right now, I'm still there till 3 o'clock. And it pays, because I had a customer call at 5 to 3 yesterday that wants us to pick up their snowblower this morning because he broke the rewind on it. So he can still use the electric start. So I'm thinking, well, what's the big deal with the pull start then? If you can get it and use it and put it back in your garage. But like Claude said, maybe it quits on him out in the edge of the road, and then he can't get it started because he hasn't got a long enough cord to reach it. Maybe. So, it pays to have somebody at the shop as well. And a lot of service work, to be honest with you, it's a lot easier with 2 guys than it is 1. 2 sets of eyes that have mechanical skills is better than 1. Because when the one gets frustrated, the other one steps in and finishes it. That's what I find. You can't get excited about anything. This is the job, get her done. Knock her out, let's go. Let me know in the comments what you think. Are you guys doing any service work? And especially you, Jason, What are your thoughts on it? Are you being pulled out of the shop where people can't get a hold of you? Because I don't give my cell phone to too many people, my cell phone number. I should. Years ago, I had a business and a personal cell phone. And then finally, I just give up the business cell phone. Having two contracts, it got expensive. So on that note, you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you here bright and early tomorrow morning. Thanks again so much for watching and supporting the channel.